Oh! Oh! I'm alive! I'm alive! Okay, Craw Creep, prepare to eat lead. Zeppelin?
Hey everybody, this is Andrew the Moo, and here we are with the very next episode of Rock of the Dead, and so we ended up the last episode as far as with the Crawdad carrying us into the water, and I guess he's carrying us to the other side of the lake or to the shore. I don't know which. But this part of the fight is a whole lot easier. He's going to pop in and out of the ground underneath the water. He's going to spit little gobs of goo at you like so. And within a minute or two, you should easily have this crustacean defeated. He's going to take a swing at me, and it's so much easier to get the attacks off. And I could probably record... he says as he gets hit. I guess one of the saving graces about this is that as you fight these things, you can get your energy back. But I think in just a second I'm about to have this guy dead.
Dude, I am never eating crawdads again. Could go for a burger, though.
So yeah, we have now like flaming birds heading towards us. So that's technically the first boss of the game, although I consider that more of a... Well, I guess I could consider that more of a boss, just to kind of introduce you to the way that the bosses work and things of that nature. And again, I've got them sound really silent on this because of the fact that I really don't want to get, like, a copyright strike because of this. I just want to show off the game. But anyway, you can see one of the big problems where I'm having some difficulties. You get a whole bunch of enemies on screen, and the game will decide, okay, you must have been doing this. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do, and I end up getting hit a couple of times because of it. Very aggravating, if you ask me, and I'm trying my best to pay attention and focus on certain things at one time, but it doesn't always work out that way. Just kind of an aggravation I've got as I'm playing through this. But here we go. We can see the bugaboo and fighting through these things. Grabbing the hidden items that we can. And
More meteors?
yeah, more meteors. I think I brought in the last episode that in a few levels, you see me trying to grab as many of these hidden items as I can. There are a number of different... Oh, we got dogs now. Violent dogs. I'm trying my best to grab as many of these items as I can, because one, that builds up the shielding that I don't ever use through this game, and the power blast, which I don't use for a little bit. It kind of dawns on me halfway through the play of this, alright, I can do that. And the good thing about it, though, is the fact that as you kill enemies, it does bring your health back up, as I mentioned a moment ago, so unless you get absolutely swarmed by enemies, which will happen to me a time or two, you don't have too much that you've got to worry about, thankfully. Even in situations like that, as long as you're somewhat paying attention, you should be good. But the reason why I'm grabbing these hidden items, as I mentioned a moment ago, not only does it bring up my shielding and help out with my health, but also the fact that they're hidden Rob Zombie tokens that I'm hoping that by the end of this, I'll either show him off, or I'll actually have him beat. It kind of depends on which, because I tried during the original playthrough of this to play against him, and he is the hardest boss fight in the game, although he is not a regular boss.
Our seeds we constructed using the most advanced of our technologies.
What was all that about? Dude, I totally should have paid my phone bill.
Kid, the phone line's out. You want to call your mommy? Well, your only chance is the emergency phone in the subway.
Hey, I wasn't gonna call my mom. At least not right away. I'm calling Mary Beth. But the subway? Man, I need to borrow a truck.
You want to get blown to bits by a falling meteor? Not me. Underground's the place to be. Take the sewers at the other end of the trailer park.
The sewers?
Hey, don't listen to an old man. Wouldn't be the first time.
Sewers? Ugh. Still, it's gotta be better than up here.
So, yeah, so the game, in its ever-originality, shows us the fact that we're going to be heading down to the sewers after this. Oh, joy of joys. So, yeah. And the game is going to follow suit with certain tropes like that. I mean, to me, it's one of the aggravations of some of the quote-unquote haunted games where you've got let's go ahead and talk about some of the tropes right now. Like, what game was it? Outlast, I think it was. Outlast follows suit with all the various tropes in one go. Look at that waterfall, beautiful waterfall in a trailer park like that happens. Like a rundown trailer park. Anyway, the video games like this go through a lot of the tropes. Like, Outlast starts out along the lines of, hey, you get crazy, insane baddies. And then after a little bit, it's like, oh, it's religion, religion, religion. And after that is, oh, what has science wrought? You know, all in one swift go. And at the end of the game, I'm like, seriously, that's the problem? By the way, we just finished the level. And we're heading on to the very next boss battle. And after this is introduced, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the tropes that are in video games, like in horror movies and whatnot.
Finally, the sewer entrance. Whoa, epic. There goes the trailer park. I think it's time to find a new place to live. Man, I like that trailer too.
This is the first, I guess you could say, the official boss of the game. If I remember correctly, I think this is Truckzilla or Trailerzilla. I cannot remember for the life of me. But yeah, this is like Megatron's redneck cousin. So let's talk about some of the tropes in like horror movies and horror games, things of that nature. Like, one of the big things is you've got, you know, the all too often it looks like it's going to be something of a supernatural nature, and then towards the end it's like, oh, science! It's science's fault! Da da da. And there's really and truly, as far as I can tell, not a super fresh take on horror movies. Like, in all honesty, I'm not a huge fan of horror movies in this day and age. I like watching some of the old stuff, because the old stuff, I'm talking through rose-tinted glasses, but I love the old horror movies. I think for me, a lot of it was the lack of CGI. I did not like CGI being used to create the gore and things of that nature. I liked, you know, the Sam Winston workshop as far as the props and things of that nature. That was just my bag. But again, that's just, you know, personal thoughts there. But like, that's one of the things that's going to end up happening in this game is you're going to end up in the whole, you know, oh, science and things of that nature, and that's aggravating to me. And like, they follow through with like, all right, so we have the sewers, and you go, okay, sewers. What's all is in the sewers? Well, the stuff that you would regularly expect in the sewers. And I guess it's maybe the fact that horror as a genre has been, I guess it's so old, so to speak, for lack of better terminology. Oh, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit twice. I'm gonna get hit 3 times. Can I? There we go. Yeah, come on. And again, there's that thing that I was talking about just then, is the way things work in this game. It's so aggravating. Anyway, horror and things of that nature have been around for so long, to the point that it's not that I hate horror movies or horror games or things of that nature. It's just there isn't too many original thoughts in the world. And I'm about to have Truckzilla, I think, defeated, so go ahead and do. And
Trailer bits falling. Ignore them. Just ignore them. Have guitar, will travel underground to avoid falling meteors while looking for a phone. Gotta work on that catchphrase.
I don't know. It's just this game had a lot of potential in my mind, and all of that potential was squandered. I do like the bits of information they have about songs, though, and music.
Yeah, I always knew rock would be my ticket out of the trailer park. Just never figured the trailer park would come after me because of it.
Alright, so now we're in the sewers, and of course everything looks radioactive because sewers. It's the way this thing works. And so whereas the last 2 levels were like really quick in nature, this is going to be one of the levels that seems to wear out its welcome. Although it is not the worst level as far as levels that wear out its welcome, this is actually one of the better ones. Later on in the game, it's going to get so much worse. But yes, radioactive sewer, everything looks like, it's just, you know. And there's the spooky stuff. We have weird leeches. I'm assuming those are mutated leeches. And we have, yeah, that's really all we got out here is like mutated leeches and bats, and that's what you're going to see throughout these levels so far. Now, soon we're going to see something that's a little bit more original. Up, that's not quite a okay, yeah, I was say that's not quite a spider, and he goes, oh, the 4 legs, I'm going to call it a spider anyway. It's about the best thing you can do.
Something shiny over there.
And so we're going to run back over in this direction, take out this spider here so we can grab that bit and bobble. And I think that's the other thing that game makers kind of, I think when it comes to rail shooters, they run out of ideas. And maybe that's just some games period, but it seems like in a lot of rail shooters, especially, they run out of ideas as to what to do with the levels. And so because they have run out of ideas, and again, there's that me getting stuck because of the way all of this is set up. Okay, grab the eye. Okay, I at least got my health back. But yeah, it's hard to pay attention and keep up with everything that all of these creatures are doing. But I mean, I'm trying to think of horror movies that came out this year, and the only one that crosses my mind, and it may not have come out this year, it may have actually come out last year, I think was The Bye-Bye Man. And that movie absolutely looked completely and utterly stupid to me. It's like, oh, don't even say his name. What's his name? The Bye-Bye Man. And I'm like, seriously? That's the creature that's supposed to scare me? Is the Bye-Bye Man? And what does he do? Does he make you go bye-bye? And again, just, you know, stuff like that I hear, and it's trying to scare you and things of that nature. I come from the days of like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees. I mean, even when I was a teenager, the horror movies to me were a whole lot better. Like we had things like Final Destination, which granted, Final Destination started to really wear out its welcome there towards the end. Because in all honesty, you couldn't take on and kill death. I mean, death was going to get you eventually. But even the way they were doing the stories was starting to be along the lines of, alright, this is getting boring now. Yeah, get out of the sewer so you can die elsewhere, old man. Because there's zombies up there, zombie bats and dogs and bugs and lobsters, you know. If you're a Cajun man, that might work out well, but, and, oh yeah, there's spiders down here. But I mean, we have like, Final Destination, and I remember, like, Final Destination was one of my favorite movies back in the day. The second one was, you know, it was alright. You know, we watch movies for, I'm gonna, you know, not even gonna feel bad about saying this. We watched horror movies because the deaths were awesome. You know, it wasn't this whole like, oh, you see me, now I've disappeared, bye-bye. And, you know, that sort of thing that you see in horror movies today, where they leave things off screen. Man, I like the blood and gore and guts and things of that nature, alright? You know, I used to have an extensive collection of horror movies back in the day. I mean, that's what I loved. I loved me some horror movies.
Dude, what is this, zombie high school? Who put zombies in lockers?
Yes, we're in the sewer, so obviously this is zombie high school.
Rugged.
And I'm wondering how all of this worked out, why you've got, as far as the sewers, and there's like no main piping system or anything of that nature surrounding me.
Some air. Hope this vent isn't just for decoration.
And we go through here, and look at these guys! And they immediately jump out in front of me. Yay. Grab that quickly.
Got it.
So we're going to crawl back through here. A lot of backtracking in games like this. Urgh. I can just feel myself getting aggravated like I was while playing this because I was trying to talk and do this at the same time. Okay, so we're 14 minutes into this. We've still got like 4 more minutes of, you know, this, I think. If not more. It's probably closer to like 6 more minutes of this. Please don't click away. Talk to me about horror movies. Here, I tell you what, why don't you tell me your favorite horror movie? Alright? Why don't we have that discussion? What is your favorite horror movie? And why is it your favorite horror movie? My favorite horror movie probably, or at least one of the favorite horror movies of mine, is Dead Alive by Peter Jackson. And yes, that Peter Jackson, the Peter Jackson who brought us King Kong, the Peter Jackson who brought us, what was the other movies? Oh yeah, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and for lack of, better terms, the Hobbit trilogy, even though, Hobbit trilogy anyway. This is the reason why I like it so much is it's probably one of the goriest, grodiest horror movies I've ever seen. It took the visual effects and it dialed it up a notch. I'm trying to remember some of the scenes that was involved in it. Like the very end of the movie was along the lines of one of the main characters, or the main character, had like not a chainsaw. He had a lawnmower strapped to his chest with one of those push mowers, and would like run through like a horde of zombies until at the very end there was nothing but a pile of blood and guts on the floor. But it was also to a degree a black comedy as well, because of the fact that the main character at one point, he's trying to run away from these zombies, and what ends up happening is he's slipping on the blood and guts. He's like running in place because he can't move any faster because the lawnmower has kind of thrown itself out. All right, so I mean, stuff like that to me, absolutely hilarious. So it's funny and it's gross. It had a lot of charm to it. 10 out of 10 would see again. Although I would recommend, if you want to watch it in all of its glory, you're going to have to get, as I get hit by these suckers again, and that's not really, a pun. They're really suckers.
supposed to be down here without a badge. Yeah, next time I'm fighting off a mutant invasion in the sewers, I'll be sure to get one.
All right, I'm sorry, I had to hear that. That was kind of funny to me.
Phone better be working, that's all I'm saying.
It has a lot of charm to it, as well as, it's not just gross, it's funny. There's good writing in it. That's the kind of thing I like when it comes to horror movies. The movies that I enjoy. I'm trying to think of something.
We put the power of our mind into the past to send out into the universe.
I must be losing my mind.
I forgot about that as I was playing through this, that was going to happen. But I'm trying to think of some other horror movies that I like that maybe aren't that well known. Trying to think off the top of my head, and I honestly cannot think of a movie. Oh, that's really, really bad. Oh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I should also make notice of the fact that, and I'm going to separate this into a different episode, I love B-rated movies, but I'll get into Killer Clowns from Outer Space a little bit later. I'm trying to think of horror movies that I really enjoy, and now I'm drawing a blank as to them. But anyway, I liked the Nightmare on Elm Street series for the most part. I liked the Halloween series. Like a friend of mine and I, back in high school, we would rent a bunch of horror movies, and on Halloween night, we would just watch them from like 8 o'clock at night till sometime like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we would go to sleep. I mean, it was very enjoyable. Something that I don't really do that a whole lot. I really haven't done that a whole lot lately, is watching horror movies, but I think I need to sit down and every so often just watch a movie. And no, I'm going to save that story for like the next episode, and I'm going to write down as far as, what to talk about in the next episode. I'm going to make mention to it. I want to tell you about a story about me as I get nailed by all of these different things. Okay. This is infuriating watching because I'm trying my best. And I finally knocked one of the characters out so I can just keep going as I get hit. Look at how much health has dropped down because I derped that one up. Thankfully, this level is almost over. But I've got like a bunch of stories to tell about horror movies and things of that nature. And I think that's what we're going to do for a lot of this. And so I'm not focusing on like, yep, we're doing this in the game, we're doing this in the game. I want to talk about some of the past movies that I've seen and things of that nature, because I think that would just be fun for me at the least. And maybe you might like something of that nature. But here we are at the end of the stage. And again, as I mentioned, tell me your favorite horror movie in the comment box below. If you like the episode, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. This is Andrew the Moo. We're done with the second episode of Rock of the Dead, and we're going to call this to a close. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.